These are the times we're the people. Do you ever feel that time is running out? Not just for yourself, but for our time. And yet within each different little tiny grain of time, there's a whole universe, a whole possibility. In fact, that's one of the things we do in mystery school. We learn how to use time differently. We learn, for example, how to take 5 minutes of clock time that subjectively you can experience it as if it's an hour, and then take something that would normally take you an hour to do, say, rehearse a skill or plan something, and you do it in 5 minutes instead of an hour. The genius of time. Space. We learn how to go into inner spaces, and in these inner spaces, to begin to explore the immense treasure house of creativity that lies within each and every one of you. I think of Mozart, and they would say, how can such a silly little man like you create such extraordinary music? He said, ha, ha, it's because when I create, I go into the musical world within, and it's all there, zusammen, all at once, and I come back because the piece is all there and I play it. And whence it cometh from, I know not, but I thank the good Lord, it is at least Mozartish. Well, the same is true with each one of you. Each one of you has within you an ongoing creative process that when you learn to touch into it, you will find that it is available to you for problem solving, for creativity, or just for fun. Every one of you is a possible human. Every one of you can learn to think in new ways, to dream, to experience, to explore inner and outer states, to upgrade your humanity. And that's what mystery schools have done throughout the ages. They've taught us to do things that we were never taught in our usual family or schools. There have been so many mystery schools. The mystery schools that were thought to be associated with Stonehenge. The mystery schools of ancient Egypt. Here, for example, is a statue that is 4,000 years old. It's of Anubis. Anubis was known as the Hierophant, the guide to the mysteries. And he would take the mystery school initiate deeply into inner space, in a guided vision, there to explore the realms of creativity, of transcendence, of transformation that were there for each one of us. We do the same. And we've been doing this for 23 years. To the mystery school have come people of every possible scope, from people who raise good families, to people who are in business, to senators, movie stars, to people who are yearning to make a difference. That's the big thing about people who go to mystery school. They need to learn how to put the little local self in the service of a much larger self, what we call the entelechy. The entelechy is the dynamic, purposeful self that lies within us. Some people refer to it as the high self. It's the entelechy of an acorn to be an oak tree. It's the entelechy of a popcorn kernel to be a fully popped entity. It's the entelechy of you and me to be something so much larger, deeper, wiser than we thought we were. Mystery school is a place where the larger self is evoked, but it's evoked for service. For the service to each other, for the service for humankind, for passion for the possible. We've learned a lot in many, many years about what the possible human is. The possible human can think in images as well as in words, can think with the whole body. The possible human is one who can enter into inner states, can explore the United States of consciousness. We know, for example, that there are so many different states of consciousness. And what you cannot do in one state, you can do in other states. We know, for example, that if schizophrenia is the disease of the human condition, then polyphrenia, the orchestration of our many, many selves that we contain within us, is our expanded self. We know that we can orchestrate our inner energies for healing, for the activation of different states of focus, for higher creativity. We know that we can cross the great divide of otherness to have radical empathy for others, for ideas, for cultures. The possible human is someone who lives in their fullness, who can tap into this vast, vast treasure house that is the human condition. And Mystery School is what teaches us to do this. We do this in so many different ways. I mean, it's not just lectures and experiences and dancing and singing, a lot of that, and a lot of jokes. I'm the daughter of a comedy writer, so we tell funny stories all the time. But it's also being able to live out of the great lives of heroes and heroines, the great mythic lives. A myth is something that never was but is always happening. A myth is the coded DNA of the human psyche that says it's time to wake up now. We find our own myths. We find our larger story, and we begin to live out of that larger story. Sometimes by pursuing the great stories, the life of Gandhi, the life of Emily Dickinson, of Helen Keller, the life of the Ramayana, the life of Christ, the life of Buddha, the lives that are our own lives writ large. And we find that the personal particulars of our own lives are then raised to the personal universals, and something in us is evoked to live a fuller, richer, more compassionate life. That's what happens in Mystery School. So Mystery School now in its 23rd year. And the mystery of this year is the mystery of making a difference. Never before in human history has it been so critical that we rise to our greatness, that we rise to this time of making a difference in small ways, in little ways, in ways that allow us to take on challenges that we never knew we could. And we help you find those challenges. We help you not only expand the spectrum of your human capacity in the light of social complexity, but expand the domain of your relationship to your own spiritual self. A very wise man who I used to walk with when I was a child, I called him Mr. Teilhard. He turned out to be Teilhard de Chardin. He lived across the street from me. He said, "Oh, Jeanne, the people of your time, they will be taking the tiller of the world." The tiller of the world. You think you are human beings having a spiritual experience? No, no, you're much more. You are spiritual beings having a human experience. And friends, that's what Mystery School is about. It's exploring the domain of our spiritual, our psychological, our mythic, our physical, our sensory glory, that we may have not only the fullest possible human experience, but that we may have an experience that can profoundly make a difference in this, the most awesome, the most critical, the most dangerous, the most extraordinary time in human history. So, if you feel ready, if the hound of heaven is going ruff, 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 come on, get on with it, then let's get on with it together. Do join us in Mystery School. Thank you.